Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So recently MLB.com came out with their World Series favorites 1 through 30, so I decided to do the same thing. If you are new here today and you're looking for more baseball insight, go ahead and subscribe down below. If you like today's video, leave me a thumbs up. If not, leave me a thumbs down. And please leave me a comment at the end and tell me what you think. At number 30, I have the Detroit Tigers. They have Matthew Boyd. That's it. At number 29, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have Josh Bell and Brian Reynolds. That's it. At number 28, I have the Miami Marlins. They have some decent pieces like Corey Dickerson, Jesus Aguilar, and Jonathan Villar, but they're still a ways away. At number 27, I have the Baltimore Orioles. Nunez and Mancini each hit 30 home runs last year. John Means was pretty good last year, and Alex Cobb is coming back, but that's not really going to do much for the Orioles. At number 26, I have the Kansas City Royals. They have a new manager in Mike Matheny who has World Series experience. Jorge Soler can hit bombs. Ian Kennedy's a pretty decent closer, and Whit Merrifield is a pretty good all-around player, but that's pretty much all the Royals have going for them. At number 25, I have the Seattle Mariners. They have some decent pop in that lineup with Omar Narvaez, Kyle Seager, Daniel Vogelbach, but that's pretty much it for the Mariners. At number 24, I have the San Francisco Giants. Madison Bumgarner is gone, but Johnny Cueto should be coming back. They still have some decent talent there with Jeff Samardzija, Mike Yastrzemski, but Buster Posey is looking to bounce back this year, so I don't know. I don't really see what the Giants are going to do this year. At number 23, I have the Colorado Rockies. Even with all of the Nolan Arenado trade rumors this offseason, they still have one of the best offenses in baseball, but outside of John Gray, they really don't have much pitching. At number 22, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays had a decent offseason. They added Hyun-Jin Ryu, an ace caliber pitcher. They added Tanner Roark, Chase Anderson as some good depth guys for the rotation, and they still have their three young guys, Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, and Cavan Biggio. But I still think the Blue Jays are about a year or two away. At number 21, I have the Texas Rangers. They got Corey Kluber, Mike Minor, Lance Lynn at the top of that rotation, but that bullpen is too inconsistent and that offense has a lot of question marks. At number 20, I have the San Diego Padres. They have a lot of good talent on that roster. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Chris Paddock at the top of that rotation, but I still think they are lacking starting pitching. At number 19, I have the Chicago White Sox. They had a very productive offseason bringing in Dallas Keuchel. They have a young superstar on the rise in Luis Robert. They have a great offense, but I still think that bullpen needs a little more stability, and I still think they need a little more starting rotation depth. At number 18, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. Look, they still have one of the best players in baseball, Christian Yelich, but they lost a lot this offseason with the departures of Mike Moustakas and Eric Thames. But they still do have Craig Counsell as their manager. He can get a lot out of those guys, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to get out of them this year. At number 17, I have the Chicago Cubs. This team still has a really good offense, a good starting rotation, and a decent bullpen, but they didn't do very well last year. With David Ross now as their manager, I think that's going to light a fire under them. I think the Cubs are going to be okay this year. At number 16, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. This is a pretty good team overall, and it does not hurt to have Bryce Harper. That starting rotation is a little bit better now with the addition of Zach Wheeler, but I do wonder if they have enough starting pitching depth. At number 15, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have a really decent top three in that rotation with Jack Flaherty, Dakota Hudson, and Mike McCullough, and Carlos Martinez might be joining that starting rotation. Andrew Miller is due for a bounce-back season, so I see that bullpen being okay. I do wonder about the offense besides Paul Goldschmidt, but I think the Cardinals are going to find a way to be in it as they always are. At number 14, I have the LA Angels. They have the best player in the game with Mike Trout. They just signed Anthony Rendon, who was one of the best players in baseball last year. They have Shohei Ohtani coming back, who should be fully healthy this year. But that pitching is really lacking. Their best pitcher right now is Julio Teheran, and that guy's a 3 or 4 starter at best. At number 13, I have the Washington Nationals. They did lose Anthony Rendon in the offseason to the Angels, but they still have Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg atop of the rotation. But I do wonder about the durability of those guys with a long World Series run just last year. The Nationals still have a lot of good talent, which includes Juan Soto, but I do wonder if they have enough starting pitching. I think the bullpen is going to be pretty good, but will this team be able to make another run? At number 12, I have the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds had arguably the best offseason this year. They brought in Nick Castellanos. They brought in Mike Moustakas. They already had a really good starting rotation. They already had a really decent bullpen. I think the Reds put it together this year, and they win the NL Central. At number 11, I have the Cleveland Indians. They did lose Corey Kluber, but they still have Bieber. They still have Clevinger. They still have Carrasco. They still have a really good offense. They still have a decent bullpen. I think they're going to be right in the mix at the end of the season. At number 10, I have the Boston Red Sox. Yes, the Red Sox lost a lot by trading away Mookie Betts, but they still have one of the best offenses in baseball. That starting pitching is a question mark with Chris Sale and Nathan Eovaldi. Their health is a concern, but they still have Eduardo Rodriguez. They signed Martin Perez for the back end of that rotation. I think the bullpen is going to be a lot more stable going into this season. I think the Red Sox are going to be right there in it at the end. At number 9, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. Charlie Morton was a stud last year for the Rays, but will Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow have fully healthy seasons? They did lose a bit in Tony Pham. I do wonder about that offense, but the Rays for the last few years have found a way to be right there in it at the end. At number 8, I have the Oakland Athletics. That offense has a lot of talent. Marcus Semien, Max Chapman, Matt Olson, and with a healthy Sean Manaea and a returning Frankie Montas, that rotation could be really good this season. At number 7, I have the New York Mets. The Mets could have one of the best rotations in all of baseball this year. They have Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Marcus Stroman, Steven Matz, Rick Porcello. That's a pretty decent, deep rotation. And they still have a really good offense with Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Michael Conforto. I think the Mets are going to be right there for a wild card spot this year. And with that starting pitching, I think it's possible they could make a deep run into October. At number 6, I have the Atlanta Braves. The Braves just have a really good all-around team. They have a very good offense, Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman. They just added Marcell Ozuna. They just added Will Smith to that bullpen, and they just signed Cole Hamels for the starting rotation. He'll be there with Mike Soroka, Max Fried. That rotation could be really good this year, and I think the Braves are primed to make a run in October. At number 5, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. I really like the Diamondbacks this year. They brought in Madison Bumgarner. They traded for Starling Marte. They have a young stud in Ketel Marte. I think the Diamondbacks are going to turn some heads this year. At number 4, I have the Houston Astros. In the end, I don't think the whole sign stealing thing is going to affect them. I think they're going to get energy off of it. They still have a decent top 2 in that rotation. Justin Verlander just won the Cy Young last year. Zach Greinke, he's still Zach Greinke. I do wonder about the durability of those guys this year, but they are workhorses and they just continue to throw inning after inning after inning each season. And they still have one of the best offenses in the game. They did lose Will Harris to the Nationals. I do wonder about the bullpen a little bit, but I think the Astros have plenty of talent and enough talent to win the AL West. At number 3, I have the Minnesota Twins. This team had a historic offense in 2019, setting the record for most home runs by a team in a season, and they just added to it with Josh Donaldson this offseason. They have really good starting pitching depth. Jose Barrios, Jake Odorizzi, Kenta Maeda, Michael Pineda, Rich Hill, Homer Bailey. That's a lot of starting pitching. They're bringing back Sergio Romo and they signed Tyler Clippard for the bullpen, but I do wonder if they have enough of a frontline starting pitcher to carry them through October. At number 2, I have the New York Yankees. They did just lose Luis Severino to Tommy John surgery, but this team is still loaded. Without Severino, they still have a really good starting rotation. Garrett Cole, Masahiro Tanaka will be at the top. James Paxton should be back in a few months. Domingo Germán will be back eventually from his suspension. And that offense, if they can stay healthy, will be loaded. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, just to name a few, Gary Sanchez. That offense is loaded. And look at that bullpen. Aroldis Chapman, Zach Britton, Adam Ottavino, Chad Green. Oh, this team is looking good. The only thing holding me back from putting them as the number 1 team is their health. They had a lot of injuries last year. Are they going to be able to stay healthy this year? If the Yankees can just stay healthy this year, I think this team has way more than enough to win the World Series. And at number 1, I have the LA Dodgers. They traded for one of the best players in the game, Mookie Betts. He's going to go alongside Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Corey Seager, Gavin Lux, if he can emerge as a really good player. That offense is really good. Coming along in the Mookie Betts trade was David Price. He's an established veteran, one of the best in this game when he's healthy. He's going to join Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler in that rotation. They have a really solid bullpen, Kelly Jansen, Blake Treinen, Joe Kelly, and they have some promising prospects. Gavin Lux, like I said earlier, Dustin May, Brusdar Graterol now, who can throw 100 out of the bullpen. In my opinion, as of right now, the Dodgers are primed to win their first World Series since 1988. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what you think down below. Who are your favorites to win the World Series this year? Again, if you are looking for more baseball insight, feel free to subscribe down below. If you like today's video, leave me a thumbs up. If not, leave me a thumbs down. Thanks for watching today. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.